Welcome to Out of the Box from Hudson County Community College. In these podcasts, we bring you timely discussions about education, people, programs, events, issues, and solutions that affect the education and enrichment of the people of Hudson County. I'm Reber, President of Hudson County Community College, and your podcast host. In today's session, we will be discussing Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society, or PTK, as it's affectionately known on campus and throughout the nation and really the world. And joining me are two very inspiring members of our Beta Alpha Phi chapter of Phi Theta Kappa. This is the college's chapter of the International Honor Society. So with me are Pedro Moranchel and Sofia Pazmino, who will be discussing their experiences in Phi Theta Kappa and at Hudson County Community College and their very bright futures. Both, in fact, very notably, are semifinalists for the highly competitive and prestigious Jack Kent Cooke Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship. Pedro and Sofia, thank you so much for joining us today. Great to have you here. So tell me a little about Phi Theta Kappa, if you would.
First of all, thank you so much, President Reber, for having us. In terms of starting about Phi Theta Kappa, it's a two-year honor society. It expands, as you mentioned, globally, not just within the United States. And there are varying chapters, one of which we have right now, which is called Beta Alpha Phi. And so far, it has been a home for me for about a year or so, and it's been really welcoming in being able to help those with scholarship opportunities, educational opportunities, and career opportunities with different programs specifically tailored for those part of PTK.
Sofia, what has Phi Theta Kappa meant to you?
Thank you so much for taking your time to stay here. I'm so grateful to stay here. Thank you, Dr. Reber. For me, Phi Theta Kappa is a family that we have. For me, I grow as a person, professionally. The opportunity that the Phi Theta Kappa has is a big opportunity to get more involved to the school, to know more people, to get a benefit, and the more important thing, to be fun in the school. And you say everything. Thank you so much about Phi Theta Kappa, that I say is a family.
Phi Theta Kappa is in fact the largest honor society in higher education. I think there's some 1,300 chapters actually throughout the United States and beyond. And the organization really acknowledges and recognizes and celebrates academic achievement. But beyond that, it encourages leadership, fellowship, service, and also provides some incredible opportunities for scholarships and awards and future growth opportunities. So this chapter at Hudson County Community College is perhaps the most dynamic student organization I have had the honor of knowing in my career that is now spanning more than 40 years. Our chapter is considered a 5-star chapter, which means it is operating at the very highest standard as defined by Phi Theta Kappa. What happens here in the chapter besides fellowship? Tell us a little about your advisor and about the things that you do.
So our advisor is Professor Ted Lai. Has been there for he's one of the longest standing ones, at least in terms of the Middle States region, around 20 years, I believe, that he's been with us. And absolutely committed to the chapter, absolutely committed to his students. The amount of times he would send emails and updates with us in terms of even, let's say, outside of PTK, just within scholarship applications or research for me in particular. And for that, outside of him is also the wonderful students I got to meet. As an officer, me and Sofia are both officers within this wonderful chapter, and the amount of students you hear still achieving a high academic level is really aspiring. I've met those who currently have 3 kids, are working 2 jobs, and are still balancing that. I met those who, such as Sofia, who have immigrated here and completely learning a new language and a new culture and still excelling, and I find that completely inspiring. And also, what we have is in terms of a lot of community activities. So we have chapter meetings. We try to aim for every month to communicate with each other. And we also have volunteering, which for me has been such a wonderful thing to have, especially during the pandemic, especially when finding a community and having that semblance of normalcy is really difficult to have. And especially for me, it's been volunteering at Liberty State Park, working with the garden. It really, really brings me like a pure hours of peace every week.
Fantastic. How about Sofia, for you?
Great. I feel like Professor Lai, he's the advisor. He's like the perfect person for the chapter. He always inspired to the students to be great in the school, to be fun in the school. And for me, as vice president of leadership last year, and right now vice president of the Phi Theta Kappa, we do, like we say, we do chapters meetings each month to get more people to know what the school has opportunities, to has scholarships, to has opportunity to be more involved, to be more fun, to get connections, that I said. And I think for me, you can be like the right person to the chapter. It's like you can to do like, you can be more involved in the school, you can win something, you can get a benefit, and you will be great, like involved in person. And for me, as part of Phi Theta Kappa, I meet my friends, and for me as a family, so I'm so grateful to stay in there.
So Professor Lai, you know, I know how inspired he is by both of you and virtually all the student members, as am I. He sends me every Sunday, usually more than just every Sunday, but definitely every Sunday morning, I get pictures, wonderful pictures of Phi Theta Kappa members at Liberty State Park, working in food kitchens, doing all kinds of community service. And also, he is the first to celebrate every honor and recognition that every student receives. You both have a list of them. But Sofia, I wanted to ask you, if you wouldn't mind, telling us a little bit about your background and how you came to find Hudson County Community College.
For me, when I graduated from William Dickinson High School, and for me, I applied a lot of universities. As immigrant, I don't know too much about the, about the country and everything like that. And I say, I have friends here, and they inspire to me, like, they say me, college has a lot of opportunities that you will have that the other universities doesn't have. And then they say, okay, let me apply it there. And then it's like, but I apply on others, and then, okay, let me go there. Let me see what is that. And I feel like I'm so grateful. I don't want to go out of here. I feel like that's my family. We are small like college, but we have a big opportunity that I said other universities doesn't have, and the culture and the diversity of culture that we have here, you feel like a family.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to stay here, and I don't want to go
We'd
out.
love to keep you forever, but you'll always be a member of the Hudson County Community College family. And our students are increasingly saying what you're saying. This feels like family to me. It feels like an extended family. Students have started coining the phrase Hudson is home, and they really mean it. I know they do. But I want to talk a little bit about you, Sofia, because your experience is so inspirational for me and others, and it is also very common among our students. You emigrated to the United States and didn't speak much English, right, in 2015. And so can you imagine, it's one thing to go to college with all the uncertainty and newness that brings, and the need to really learn how to study and how to balance all kinds of things. But to not speak the native language of the school, of your instructors, and then not only master that as you did with the support of faculty in our English as a Second Language or ESL program, but to not only make it through college, but to soar. You both are top students, and we're going to talk about that just a bit. But I don't want to just tell you, thinking about my own college experience, my father was a school teacher, my mother was a stay-at-home mom or secretary. They didn't have a lot of money, but they put everything into education for my brother and me. And we thought it was really tough. But we spoke English. We didn't have to work while we went to college. All we had to do was be full-time students. We lived there. You are navigating so many challenges of language, but also, working while going to school and all kinds of, issues outside of the college experience. And Pedro, I know you've shared your parents emigrated here. Can you tell us a little bit about your family experience? And then I want to talk about your accomplishments.
Yeah, absolutely. So I say this full stop with everything I've went through and experienced. Everything that I've garnered is absolutely because of them. And I always say that, whether it be an award or even like a good grade, I always come back to say how grateful I am, because it wouldn't be there without them. So my mother is Honduran and my father is Mexican. They both immigrated here around the same time, and they left for various reasons, but somewhat the same. For my mom, it was a hurricane that hurt her country and her hometown, and she really needed some way to take care of her family that was suffering in that moment. And as for my father, he was a flower farmer. Our family there was flower farmers, and also a lot of drought and a lot of bad negative elements happening. And he also wanted to go and find a way to take care of his family better than what he could find there available, because it was around a rural area that he lived in. And for both of them, they met in Union City, and they both worked at a restaurant together, and a Spanish restaurant, and that's how they met. And from there, again, they've really worked a lot in terms of providing me a home, providing me a place where I can have an education, or a country that can go on to give those opportunities for me. And it's always something that they encouraged me about. Something that you hear a lot in terms of immigrant families is that education is your main job, is your only job. It should be the one that you should strive for, the differing factor for you. And yeah, that was mainly my inspiration.
And so both Pedro and Sofia are semifinalists for the Jack Kent Cooke Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship. Let me tell you a little bit about this scholarship. It's probably the most competitive scholarship in American higher education. Only about 50 college students across the nation receive it each year. And if you receive this scholarship, you are guaranteed full funding for up to 3 years to complete a bachelor's degree following receipt of an associate degree from a community college. And Cooke scholars tend to go on to elite Ivy League institution, Research One universities, and they also then are eligible for, I think, $70,000 a year for graduate study. So needless to say, thousands and thousands of community college students across the nation apply each year for the Jack Kent Cooke Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship. We've been so honored and blessed and inspired to have had Jack Kent Cooke scholars at Hudson County Community College for each of the last 2 years. And now we have 4 semifinalists this year. And whether you finally, and they're not competitive, they'll both be happy if one or the other gets it, I know. But the fact that you have moved this far along in that scholarship arena is a testament to your excellence, your academic excellence, your service excellence, And I know both of you, in addition to your studies, you're both involved in our honors program. Can you talk a little bit about that, Sofia?
Yeah, I started to honors program on the last year, and I feel like you will be in the honors program will be the opportunity to you have a better opportunity to learn new things, to learn new material, and for me, was like I said, it was a little challenge that when I started to do the college, and the accomplishment that I have is to just for me, I just study. My parents say you have to study, and just that, and you will be excellent in the school, and that's the thing that for me, and I had to do it, and I want to do it is we'll have the best grade and have the opportunity and work on the opportunity that and get the benefit that the college has. And honors program has the best opportunity to have a new, have better learning, and in the small classes that you will stay in there, and you have the more opportunities to learn new things, to have new friends, to learn new things, and so that's the honors program. And
thank you. And Pedro, I know you, along the way, have had the opportunity to conduct National Science Foundation sponsored research. You've done an internship at Princeton. Tell us about those experiences.
It still feels surreal to say that, admittedly. So research for me is very important to me personally. It was something where before going to Hudson, I really wanted to, and Hudson for me was something that I could start over and really hone in on who I want to be. And a lot of the summer before I went to Hudson involved self-discovery. And from there came my aspiration that I found that I loved math and I loved physics, and so much so that I might want to have a career out of it. So for the Reu program, for those who don't know Reu, it stands for Research Experience for Undergraduates. I've wanted this aspiration of I would wish to be a professor, and one thing I would hear for graduate school is get your research early, and it's so important. It compounds into letters and experience. And from day one, I've asked my biology professor, I asked another professor about research opportunities at Hudson and going on to find myself. And really, that objective really shaped up, even without having it. Just the wish to aspire for it really affected how involved I became and how focused I was for my studies, because I so badly aimed to have that. I applied to multiple research Reu programs. I think it was around 10 or 11, and I worked with people to help me with my letters and such, and I got rejected and rejected and rejected. And at one point, I kind of forgot that I applied to one of them, and I was walking to the kitchen and I heard a vibration from my phone, and I went to pick it up, and I saw that the last application that I applied to got back to me, and they said, yes, we would like to accept you. So that was for Queensborough Community College, and that was specifically what I did was for studying cosmic rays and doing cosmic rays research. So cosmic rays are really energetic particles that some of them in small quantities come from the sun or from outside of the solar system sources. And I remember the first week I was watching a video to get some background research, and I was reading different articles, all virtual, by the way, because of coronavirus. That's notable for me that most of my research that I've done is within the background of COVID-19. But when my dad came in and he was like, how's it going? How's it going with the research? I looked at him and I smiled and I was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. That's also one thing as well for those who don't know. You get funded around $4,000 to $6,000 depending on the university for the stipend. And you work around 10-ish weeks. And for me, I gave a little presentation regarding my research. It involved this equation called the Fokker-Planck equation, and just learning about that and reading articles and having that understanding of what it means to do research, it only cements that idea that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to pursue. And then it went on that I applied because I was encouraged by an advisor, I believe is Professor Lively, to go and apply for the Department of Energy's Community College intern program that they have tailored for community college students to participate in research. And during some time in that summer, after I did research, they got back to me saying that we would like to offer you a position for the fall. And I worked within their engineering department, and I did research in terms of sonic levitation experiments. And they wanted me specifically, what my job is to develop a robotic arm that can move certain micromaterials within the chamber. And it was something where I had to use AutoCAD, and I had to learn a little bit of coding in Arduinos and such. And again, it was a whole rush of learning and constantly learning and getting paid to learn and to develop something on your own. It was so exciting, and getting to meet the different researchers that are there. I also had a little conference that we went to as well. And it was really inspiring in terms of, they were talking about fellowships, they were talking about different programs that I might not have known had I been gone there. And it's something I always encourage all our STEM students to pursue. A big part of my time in STEM Club, being its vice president and then president, is that I want to amplify the message for STEM students that research is possible. Like, don't be worried about applying and what it means, because it really is fundamental and it really gives good experience for you in delving into something in the sciences.
Yeah, so you can see just as you talk about those experiences how excited you are by education. And so I know, Pedro, you aspire to one day teach physics and STEM and bring that to life for your students. And Sofia, I know you're interested in accounting. You are currently a business administration major and are planning to go on for a 4-year degree and perhaps beyond that in accounting. Tell us about your career aspirations. What do you hope to do one day?
Okay, so for me, as right now I'm doing an internship at Salesforce company, and I'm doing so my goal that I have right now is to do maybe another university to do accounting and data analysis. For me, that's my goal that I have in my mind, and I'm doing data analysis as internship right now, and I'm working with my boss and understand how the company works, how the company everything do it. So it inspires to me to love the Excel, to love the opportunities that have the company, the benefits that has. And my mom, she's inspiring to me. She's an accountant too, and she's inspiring to me to do the same thing as her. And the future, the thing that I have and the goal that I have in my mind is open a accounting place to work together in the future and help to my family and work together. And accounting I think accounting is the best thing that you have to see how much you have to create a business, internship. And for me, as I want to be entrepreneur in the future, and the accounting is the place to me, what is the things, what is the goals, what is the plans that I have in accounting plus business administration connects. So for me, it's business administration that I took right now, and I will graduate. That one helps to me to understand what is the company, how do you have to treat the people, how do you have to be with the people, to understand what is the plan that you have to be for entrepreneurship. And accounting connects, and I love Excel and the computer and the programs. So for me, that works for me, and that's the goal that I have in the future.
And so through your career, you're also aspiring to give back and help others. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about education, about our students who are so inspirational. They're being inspired and they're being supported, and they're going to go on and do the same thing, and it has an exponential impact over time, because I just know both of you are going to inspire so many people you touch and whose lives you interact with over time, and that then just has a ripple effect. So I know we could go on and on. I'd love to keep talking about all of your success. I know, Sofia, you also in your spare time work in our Office of Continuing Education and Workforce Development.
Yes.
And I have to mention that Pedro was one of just 8 students in the nation to be chosen to be a Dream Scholar at Achieving the Dreams annual international conference. This is an organization that Hudson County Community College belongs to that is focused on using data and best practice to help more and more students succeed. Pedro was on the stage giving talking about his own personal experience, interacting with speakers in this conference attended by thousands across the country. They are both superstars. You are both an inspiration, and you are the reason those of us on the faculty and staff are here, because we are partners in your pursuit of your educational goals, and you really do inspire us all. We have a tradition as we conclude our podcasts. I always ask our guests, if you could describe Hudson County Community College in one word, what word would that be? Sofia, what would be your word?
Family.
Family. Pedro?
Hope.
Family, hope. Mine is always inspiration. Pedro and Sofia, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for joining us for this session of Out of the Box. We hope you will visit our website, hccc.edu, and share this video cast with your family and your friends. And please stay safe and well. Take care.